WasteWatch report, we're taking a closer look at how your tax dollars are being spent.
Yeah, the group Florida TaxWatch has just released its annual budget turkey report, spotlighting what it calls hundreds of millions of dollars in questionable or even wasteful spending that's tucked into the state's newly approved budget.
CBS 12's Tiffany Rizzo breaks down what made the list and why it matters to you.
Florida's new $115 billion budget is officially on the books, but a watchdog group says some of that money didn't go through the right process and might not be worth the spend. We're talking about things Florida TaxWatch calls budget turkeys, and this year there's a lot of them. They're calling them budget turkeys, projects that TaxWatch says skipped normal budget rules or just don't belong in a state spending plan. This year, Florida TaxWatch flagged 242 projects worth $416 million. They say shouldn't have made the final cut.
We are simply holding legislators in the process accountable for the hard-earned taxpayer dollars that they are spending each year.
Those include local parks, museums, and even water projects, many of which never went through a competitive grant process. Florida TaxWatch Senior Vice President of Research, Kurt Wenner, says many are local projects lawmakers added for their own districts, sometimes skipping the usual review.
They used almost all of that money for member projects, none of it to go through the actual grant process.
And while TaxWatch admits some of these projects may be popular, they say they're not always the state's responsibility. They're also asking the governor to take a hard look at another $800 million in what they say is questionable spending.
Should the state fund projects that are not statewide in scope and are usually local government responsibilities? Should taxpayer dollars be used to fund projects that are more of a luxury than a necessity? You know, it must be remembered that member projects aren't the only way that the state gets money down to local governments.
TaxWatch says this is about making sure the budget process is fair and transparent. Governor DeSantis still has line item veto power, so we'll see if any of these turkeys get carved out. I'm reporting in West Palm Beach, Tiffany Rizzo, CBS 12 News.